we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. Now, I'm not much to be on about spirits communicating and things like that, and I don't know if you guys can see the light flickering behind me. It's not like a constant flicker, and this happens often with this certain lamp that I have. As I'm looking forward, I can see it shining onto the wall in front of me. So, what spirit possibly may be here trying to communicate? It happens a lot. With crown chakra, that's the knowing. The knowing. It's like everything else, even like the third eye chakra, that's the seeing, the actually seeing through everything. This is the knowing. The frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe. What did I just say? Like, we're going from the very beginning here. The first card literally says, if you try to pick out anything by itself, it's connected to everything else in the universe. But this was a parasite. Not saying that the person was a parasite, but this attachment that you had, or the attachment that was left on you, was parasitic. This is a realization that you're going through as to why you're so angry about it. It's not the person. It's not even what they did. It's how much you trusted them. It's how much faith you put into them being the type of person that would never do that to you. Let's start off with a gratitude card. One moment. Okay. Had to make an adjustment in the sound here. Hopefully that's all right. See what we have here. Welcome in to Bad Dad Tarot. It's your first time. Return visitors, as always, welcome back. Appreciate you guys being here. You guys know what to do to show your appreciation for these messages. All right, let's do this. Lots of affirmation cards there. Is there got an affirmation card or a gratitude card to begin with? When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. John Muir. When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. Think of your very favorite place on earth. Close your eyes and imagine you are there. Take a moment to relax and appreciate how this feels. It could be a vacation spot that you enjoy going to. It could be grandma's kitchen. It could be your bed. It could be out in nature, a fishing spot that you enjoy. Think of your very favorite place on earth. It could be with your kids, you know, or your parents, or whatever age you might be. Close your eyes and imagine you are there. Take a moment to relax. Take a moment to relax and appreciate how this feels. I feel like that's really significant, to take a moment to relax. So much going on in the world right now. When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched or attached to everything else in the universe. It's like the singularity of things. The cause and effect. You don't think that one thing may be attached to another thing, like, oh, surely that's not why this blessing or this hard time, this hardship is coming in. It's not because of this certain thing. Maybe. Let's find out. Let's get us some sacred geometry activation oracles here. I'm not much to be one about spirits communicating and things like that. And I don't know if you guys can see the light flickering behind me. It's not like a constant flicker, and this happens often with this certain lamp that I have. As I'm looking forward, I can see it shining onto the wall in front of me. So, what spirit possibly may be here trying to communicate? It happens a lot. I always say, what do you want? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't communicate like that with, I'm not a mediator or I don't know. I try to have respect for the spirit realm. I don't mess with them. They don't mess with me, kind of thing. All right, so let's do this. Spirit, where are we going with this message here? But it's attached, right? You try to pick out anything, it's attached to everything else in the universe. Who do we have? I think that's good on the shuffle. Let's see. We have crown chakra. That's the knowing. The knowing. It's like everything else, even like the third eye chakra, that's the seeing, the actually seeing through everything. This is the knowing. The frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe. What did I just say? Like, we're going from the very beginning here. The first card literally says, if you try to pick out anything by itself, it's connected to everything else in the universe. This says the frequency of the crown chakra, the violent, hopefully not. The violet flower of life supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. All right then. So this is about our connectedness to the universe. You try to pick out one thought, you try to think one lesson that you've learned, and you're finding how those things are all connected. So all these, okay, so real quick, I'm seeing this kind of like looking back on certain things that you've had to endure in life. And you come to the moment when you understand that all of those things, they may have seemed like they were just separate things happening, good or bad, whatever, however you perceive them as being, you're able to transmute that negativity into light if it was negative. But this supports your ability to do that because you're seeing how all things, your thoughts, your emotions, your everything, the things you disagree with and the things you agree with, they're all connected to the universe. This is a lesson that I've had to learn personally quite a few times. And then seeing how each of those lessons, each of those separate lessons all come into a full knowing. It's like taking a course in high school or in college or in a job training or something. You're like, what does this thing have to do with me learning what I'm here for? I'm majoring in, brain surgery. Why do I have to learn about how blood flows through arteries or whatever? I'm not a brain surgeon, obviously. I may not be here doing this if I was. Probably I would. The throat chakra. This is in the subconscious position of my table. The frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. So, I was about to say you're going to begin speaking what you know, but this may be knowing when to speak. Ooh. No, speaking what you know and knowing when to speak. That might be the title. The heart chakra. This is all chakras. I pulled them out randomly out of this deck. This is not a chakra deck. Going forward, and they're all going lower in number going forward. So this is like you've reached a certain level, and it's not that you're downgrading or regressing. It's not about that. It's about going from what you know and now going. Let me see if I can figure out. Let's read this, and then I'll see if I can figure out how to express with my throat chakra what it is that I'm saying or wanting to say here. The frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. There's a healing taking place. And just like we began with all things by itself, sometimes we don't look at things like our thoughts and our words and our emotions are all one thing. They're all the embodiment of a one expression. So what I was going to say about not being regression, but it's like going from yesterday, the message that I put out yesterday, I don't know when this will come out, maybe it was a few days ago, but the previous reading it says, how did you know? I think the root chakra was about being grounded. It came out in that reading. And this is like going from the root chakra to traveling up the Kundalini, basically up to the crown chakra, getting them all in alignment, and then going back down from the knowing to the speaking of what we know, where we were speaking what we thought we knew or something like that. But now this is knowing what you're speaking. And care, heart chakra, care is vital in any kind of manifesting. You have to care about the thing that you're trying to manifest. Like actually care about it. And this happens good or bad. When people manifest things that we perceive as being like, oh, how are they doing that? They don't deserve that. Corruption, that's how they got, well, that's what they care about. They care about corruption. So they're able to manifest in that dark energy, right? That's where I'm going with that. So this is knowing when to speak and also knowing what it is that we're speaking on. But we also know when to speak, knowing what to speak and when to speak. But you know what you're talking about because you care about this thing and you care about what it is that you are saying. You care about your thoughts. You care about your words. This is good thoughts, good words, good deeds. That's what this is about. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Let's see what we get from the dark mirror. Wasn't even sure I wanted to use the dark mirror in this one. I think I may use it and the mausoleum again. Let's see here. Think of your favorite place on earth. Close your eyes and imagine you were there. Take a moment to relax. Thinking about the place that you care about. Your favorite place. Take a moment to relax and appreciate how this feels. All things are connected. One is all and all is one. Take one. Now we're going to take anger and chains. I feel like I'm laying these down to be supported by these sacred geometry, by each of these chakras. Queen of my world, that came out in the previous reading, in the same position as actually the throat chakra. Queen of my world. Anger and chains, Queen of my world, and Parasite at the heart chakra. Do I want to speak on that? Because I feel like you may have, if you're a male, let's say, if you're a male, a man watching this, maybe you are the female or whatever. Let me try to keep it away from being gender specific. So we'll just say it like this. Someone, queen of your world, king of your world, take the gender as it applies. There may have been someone that you really felt like you knew they were the one for you. You knew they were your queen or king of your world, whatever. I don't like even putting that title on anyone because, or whatever, anyway. Because like a post that I made, there haven't been that many queens in the world, all right, in history. Everybody is not a queen. Just because you call yourself a queen doesn't mean you are a queen or a king or whatever. I get it. It's just a like pet name kind of things, but it can, what you feed into your mental, you know, it's a negative way of feeding the ego. Not that the ego is negative. I'm actually working on a video right now about the ego. Not a reading, a video. But this was a parasite. Not saying that the person was a parasite, but this attachment that you had, or the attachment that was left on you, was parasitic. It could be addicted to the drama. It could be addicted to the sex. It could be addicted to the way that they loved you, but you didn't actually love them. But you had unconditional love still for this person that really seemed like this parasite person. It can go from hot to cold in like moments, you know, in like no time. Let me try it on this camera here because that one is pretty dark. But you see how there's red and the blue there? That's the hot and the cold. Fire and ice. It's fire and ice. This could be a friendship. It could be a family member. It could be a love. Whatever it was parasitic, but it was something that also had you drawn to it, and not realizing that this anger and chains, now you've realized, now you know that this anger that you felt tied to or chained to, that you were addicted to, the drama, whatever, it's that like endorphin rush, right? It wasn't the relationship being exciting. It was your heart rate was always up. Your anxiety, your worry was always up. It was like a parasite. This anger thing was like a parasite, but it was coming because you were showing unconditional love to the person that was actually the cause of the anger and you being chained to the anger. They were the queen of your world. You may have told them this, and you speaking it, you at the same time may have queen, a king, whatever. They ruled your world is what you're saying to them. They ruled your world. In the subconscious, this is what you've been realizing, knowing what to speak and when to speak it. speaking what you know and knowing what you speak. Let's get this mausoleum. So now you're a little more careful about your words because they mean something. They're powerful. You tell someone else they're the queen or king of your world, that means they rule you. No, you're my partner, you're my friend, you don't rule me. I rule me. You know, let's see where this takes us here. All things are connected. All things are connected. The anger, chains, jealousy that was created, all of that stuff. Now you're knowing where that all stemmed from, why it was there. Going forward, you are aware of this parasite that maybe still is actually attached to you, and you're going to carry it into another relationship, or whether that be love or friend or whatever. Or maybe it did carry over into other relationships. This is like a healing that needs to take place from the internal. Now you don't speak and tell someone that they rule over you. You don't tell them that they are your queen or your king, or don't give them that authority over you and over your life. Just because you love them and care about them doesn't mean you have to put them up on a pedestal higher than yourself, within yourself. They are not the air you breathe. Those are sweet words to say and everything else. They are not the air you breathe. Yes, you can live without. I can't live without you. You're the air I breathe. They sound so sweet, and they're Valentine's Hallmark card shit. But don't let that be true. Don't let that be true. You can breathe without them. You can go on without them. You can survive. We have to be careful about the words that we speak. Anubis, arbiter of truth over the anger and chains. All right, preservation, neutrality, obligation. The arbiter of truth. There's a neutrality there. The truth does not favor one side or the other. The truth is the truth. That's just what it is. And Anubis has an obligation to express only truth. So knowing the truth, knowing what you're speaking. Not just saying words because it's what someone else wants to hear. Not just saying words because it's what you want to feel, whether you actually feel it or not. It would be so sweet if I said this word or this phrase to them, or they would really appreciate it if I said these things. Arthur, man, he comes out a lot. I've got a whole Merlin series I've been working on. And he's coming up in future videos for that series. Companionship, nobility, and self-realization. Companionship, queen of my world, King Arthur. This is the masculine and feminine. You are the masculine and feminine. You are the king and queen of your subconscious and your self-confidence, self-realization. Companionship, nobility, the champion of Avalon. The kingdom is within you. It's your mind, it's your thoughts, it's your feelings, it's what you believe. And you can't make someone else believe the same things or have the same morals or have the same thoughts about a thing. Not everyone is raised exactly the same way, but we're all interconnected. What is it that made you angry about this person? It was probably something that was a reflection of something within you. The thinker, the father of knowledge. Knowledge, instruction, and reinvention. Knowledge, instruction, and reinvention. You're coming out the other side of this thing. I think you're coming out the other side of this as like you're reinventing yourself. You know, it's like, I know now that I am responsible for my thoughts. I'm responsible for my reaction or how I perceive this person or people in the future. When you try to pick anything out by itself, when we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. And this was all about the chakras were very prevalent in this reading. Thinking, knowing, truth were all prevalent in this as well. Man, I've got a tag or something tickling my neck here. You stay off my neck. Get off my neck. All right, let's get a couple of tarot here. And I'm going to keep this one kind of short. Just felt like it was a good time to... I had the time, we'll say it like that, to try to get another message out here. Appreciate you guys being here again. Knowing what you speak and speaking what you know, or knowing when to speak it. We have the High Priestess in the reverse. Now, I'm not seeing this as being a negative thing. I'm seeing this as, you know the truth, but this isn't something that you feel like you need to share. The High Priestess is typically waiting for those who come seeking truth, and then she's willing to share it. This is like someone coming back around. There's this lion here on this anger and... what was it called? Anger and Chains. There's this lion here that my eyes keep being drawn to, which would be like the Strength card, which also represents your own feelings, your own reactions, your anger. Taming the beast within. And this is like, I'm not letting them see the beast within. Let me have a good look at her. She has this snake wrapped around her arm. What is she holding there? It kind of looks like a bouquet of roses, but the petals look like blood. So it's like you feel like, it's like going forward. I don't need to say too much. I don't need to tell someone too much until we're at a point where I'm making some kind of obligation, where I feel like I'm making some kind of commitment. And it's that serious. I don't really need to. Now I know that I don't need to share too much, because you connect yourself to them. And that parasite, not saying you're a parasite, but that parasitic energy of the relationship comes there, because now I've confided all of my truths. I've confided some deep, dark things about myself to you. I've shared the depth of myself with you way too early. And then when it's betrayed, or we feel it's betrayed, man, that can become a real problem. That can become, Four of Pentacles, unstable instability. This is also, Four of Pentacles sometimes represents greed, but this is in the reverse. Self-realization, nobility, learning what to speak and when to speak it, but also knowing what you are speaking. Not just speaking what you know, but knowing what you speak. You can repeat something that you heard because you thought it was a truth. That's the way the media is designed. It's designed to put it in your mind so many times that you just believe it's the truth. You don't have access, you think, you don't have access to the same information and the inside information or contacts or whatever connections that they have. So you have to take their word for it. So then you go back to the office and you're like, oh, did you see that so-and-so did this and so-and-so said that? And then depending on, let's say, like with politics, you have your very conservative media who's going to give you one aspect of the story or one side or one viewpoint or perspective of a thing, and then you have another side that's going to give you this perspective of it. And then you go to your office and you're talking about what you watch, not about what you watch, but you're talking about the thing that you watched from the perspective of that side, and someone else watches the opposite side and it's like, no, that's not it. That's not what happened. It was this, this, and this. And somewhere in the middle, the arbiter of truth. So now, maybe you don't need to share your truth with, I don't know what to say about this. We'll find out. And Seven of Swords. Is this whole deck in the reverse? It's not. Seven of Swords. Deception. Betrayal. In the reverse. No longer betraying yourself. Father of knowledge. The knowing. Instruction. Knowledge. Reinvention. Reinvention, because I'm no longer deceiving myself about what I actually do care about, where my unconditional love lies. The green flower of life, it supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. Have you been through something where I almost feel like it's because going all the way back to close your eyes and imagine this place that your very favorite place on earth. Well, it's actually connected because it's on earth. It's also connected to where your most unfavorite place or non-favorite place is. It's in the same realm. No more self-deception. Why was that my favorite place? Was it because of a memory that is attached that I was with a certain person? Let's say there's a certain place that you and another person used to go. You guys had your spot that you went to, or your vacation place, and then you go back to revisit that, and it's just not the same. So was it actually the place, or was it the companion, like companionship with King Arthur? Was it the person you shared that experience with that made the place so special to you. And now the place didn't change. I mean, it may have these days, but let's say the place itself did not change. It's still the same vacation spot, still the same beach or the same lake or the same fishing place, whatever. But now you're not sharing it with the same person. The place didn't change, but your perception of it changed. Your knowing of what the place was changed. I hope that makes sense. This is kind of a weird. Let me get a couple more here and then we'll. The Hanged Man. This is like a sun dance. It's like making sacrifices. Sacrificing your truth, which only ended up causing anger because you felt robbed, although you voluntarily robbed yourself, sacrificing your truth. Eight of Swords, right? That's imprisoned. But now you're setting yourself free, I feel like. That's a self-imprisonment. That's the illusion of being imprisoned. But he's not. I mean, in this card, he kind of is, though. What is the number 4? But there's a strength here. He can break these. And the crows representing the thoughts in this. It's that trapped in the mind. Trapped in the mind. Oh man, I shared too much. Oh, I told them too much. The Star in the reverse. So I feel like currently, right now, at this moment, with the High Priestess, and there's an anger and chains. You feel trapped in this thing that you can free yourself from if you will realize the truth. Anubis comes to say, I don't favor your side or your experience or the person or place or whatever that you're angry and hurt by or whatever. The truth is the only thing that Anubis cares about. That's his role, that's his job, is to be the arbiter of truth, carrying the truth, speaking the truth, going to the throat chakra. It doesn't matter how you feel about them. It doesn't matter if you thought they were the king or queen of your world and they were everything to you and all that. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. What is the truth of the matter? The King of Pentacles. Man, this cost a lot. This was like a relationship or something that put you in ruins. 4 of Cups. There's a lot of regret here. And now being closed off. Justice. You don't feel like you received any justice in this situation. Or that's what you've convinced yourself of. We were the perfect, so we had the King Arthur and the Queen of my world. That's like, we were the perfect, don't get me started on twin flames, but we were the perfect match. It was my soulmate. It was my twin flame. It was whatever. So when it fell apart, you feel, there's anger. There's a lot of anger here. But this is a realization that you're going through as to why you're so angry about it. It's not the person. It's not even what they did. It's how much you trusted them. It's how much faith you put into them being the type of person that would never do that to you. They would never in the beginning, but then when it happens, and this doesn't have to be necessarily actually like your money, your finances, your financial stability, but it could be they cost you everything. That's how you feel. You've convinced yourself that it was them. They did this. They ruined me. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some rotten people who will behind the scenes try to ruin you, but it's out of the same thing that you're feeling here with this anger. Two of Pentacles. This is reinvention. This is making, look, I've got 2 pennies to rub together. Let's make something happen. Let's make something shake with it, you know? I got a decision here. Got a couple of different decisions or options coming in. The ship's behind her. I can make something happen here. I can reinvent this. Prince of Pentacles. Yeah, might take me some time, but we can make it happen. This peacock feather over here, and the King of Pentacles in the reverse. There was peacock feathers behind the High Priestess. There's a peacock here in this Prince of Pentacles. Argus. 7 of Wands. So you have the 7 of Swords in the reverse and the 7 of Wands in reverse over here. 7 of Swords in reverse. No more self-deception that it was all their fault. They're the reason I'm in ruins. No. If that's the case, then you would also have to give them credit for you prior to being in ruins. They also were the reason why you were up. They were the reason why you were successful. Is that true? Are they the reason for your success? Then they can't be the reason for your failure. But you don't need to defend yourself here. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to defend these next actions you're taking. You don't need to share too much, speak too much. Let's get an angels and ancestors and wrap it up. Why not? I just kind of like throwing these little psalms out here every once in a while too. So let's throw a couple of those out. See what we get. Get a couple of these, maybe just one. Sometimes 3 or 4 of them come out though. Let's take this one. What's this? I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me. Each day the Lord pours his unfailing love upon me, and through each night I sing his songs. You take that as you want. I'm not going to go into what my religious beliefs are or anything like that, but that's... So Psalm 42:8, each day the Lord pours his unfailing love upon me, and through each night I sing his songs. So you're finding the good. You're able to take that negative energy and transmute it into positive. I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me. Psalm 13:6. That's, again, don't attach any kind of religious whatever to that. Lord is the all, right? Spirit, God, source, whatever it is that you believe in. Get 7 shuffles here. Appreciate you guys hitting the subscribe button, liking the video, sharing it, all that good stuff. If you feel like sharing it. I do feel like this is all about not blaming yourself either. It's not what I'm trying to get at with this. I'm saying But it's realizing that when you put so much blame on another, again, yes, in real life, there are people that will do things to try to ruin you, ruin your reputation, ruin your income. There are definitely those things. But that doesn't ruin you forever. They can ruin those opportunities. They can ruin that job. They can ruin that relationship. They can ruin whatever. That's not everything, though. You still got two pennies to rub together here. You can make something happen. You blame them for your downfall, then you have to also credit them for your success. All right, it's a 7th from the top. Let's see what we get. Protection Guardian, drop your shields. All right, let's see what it says. Pull out the old book here, Protection Guardian. 112. So January 12th or November 2nd could mean something, or just the number 112 may mean something to you. So drop your shields. Should I hold this up there for you guys? Drop any shields of shame, resistance, and fear that are standing between you and your chances of enjoyment and fun. Okay, so let's go back there, right? Close your eyes and imagine you are at this very favorite place on earth. Take a moment to relax and appreciate how this feels. You're putting yourself in that caring feeling, the way that you feel when you're laying on that beach or sitting on that bank with your fishing rod in the water. This is that heart chakra. This is how we manifest what you know to be true. You speak it internally, speak it to yourself. Now, each day, the Lord pours his unfailing love. The universe pours its unfailing love upon me. And through each night, I sing his songs. I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me, right? So transmute the energy to something positive, where you're at in the negative right now. So again, we'll start over. Drop any shields of shame, resistance, and fear that are standing between you and your chances of enjoyment and fun. Know that you don't need to hide who you are or the gifts that you have. You were born to shine. The Protection Guardian is a feminine version of Archangel Michael. She is a fierce, protective, yet loving warrior angel who carries an indestructible shield of power and protection and will come to all who call on her. She will help you drop your fear-based shields and move into a loving, protective force field that will keep you safe but will allow your gifts to shine out. Although she is here to guard you from lower energies, she is completely relaxed. Take a moment to relax and appreciate how this feels. Again, this always happens. Thank you, Spirit. So although she is here to guard you from your lower energies, she is completely relaxed, serene, and confident because she trusts that love will always prevail. That was what we have going forward. All right, come on. And I even said with the 7 of Wands, I just realized that. You're no longer defending yourself, no longer trying to, you don't need to speak on why you feel the way you feel or do the things you do. You just do it. All right, you may have encountered shame or embarrassment in your past, but that is not your present. Angels are drawing close at this time to help you move beyond any limiting thoughts, emotions, and patterns. That's that self-realization. Right? I played this part in my failing. I played this part in allowing this thing to anger me or whatever it is there. All right, so angels are drawing close at this time where'd I go here? To help you move beyond any limiting thoughts, emotions, and patterns that may be making you feel unsafe. Know the angelic protection is swirling around you and at this moment, and will help you move forward in a more fearless way. Call on your guides for help in changing your frequency so you can feel safe and protected at this time. You're stronger than you think. There's that strength we talked about. You're stronger than you think, and your angels and ancestor guides are here to help you realize this now. Self-realization. What is the truth? Stop looking for someone to blame, because at the same time, again, you would also have to credit them. So look at where the part you played. Look at the part, like bring it back onto you. No, not everything. This cannot apply. What I'm saying cannot apply to every situation in everybody's lives. Some things absolutely are someone else's fault. They damaged you. They hurt you as a child. Something like that. This is more about someone who, I'm seeing that universe in her palm there too. I'm seeing this is more for, again, we gave too much of ourselves to someone. We trusted them with us. We trusted them with all of us. And when we did that, and it's not about not being vulnerable anymore, but it's about I gave them control over what was good for me. I gave them control over what I now loved, or how I thought about things, or how my views on the world, or my views on social issues, or my views on spirituality, or whatever. It's giving your power away, and now you are taking that back. Someone, I'm not saying they didn't betray you, obviously, somewhere in this mess, someone betrayed you and you don't feel like you've seen justice. Well, then the justice is yours to take into your own hands, not in making them pay for a thing, but what would be the true justice? So I use this as an example. Someone takes someone's family member away from them, let's say gang violence or something like that. Them going to prison for a crime they committed that took someone away from you yes, that's justice in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of the land, here in the 3D, but that still does not take away the loss. It doesn't bring the person back. It doesn't heal the family. They get to know that someone's paying for it, that deservedly should be paying for it, but there's no true justice. The arbiter of truth, Anubis, would not say that's justice. Justice would be bringing their child back, bringing their family member back, or something, giving me back my heart, all of the years that I spent with you, all of everything I invested in you. Give me that back. You can't give me my time back. You can't give me back all the emotion I poured into you. So you have to find the justice within it. Make it just for yourself by going back, leading this anger, like you know what? You can't trigger me anymore. You can't make me angry. I'm not chained to what you used to be able to do to me before. I have another reading in there that they can't emotionally manipulate you anymore, or something like that. You can find that in my list of videos. But that's what this is. They tried to feed you to the lions, and you came out leading the pride. Because now you know and you know what to speak over yourself, and you're more aware of your words as to how much you're giving power. When you tell someone else, "You're my king," okay, queen, you're my everything. They're not your everything. Because if you lose them, then what? Then you've spoken that over yourself, that they were your everything. So now you have nothing, but you do. But you do. There's so many different ways that we could talk about this, but we can talk about it in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what your viewpoints are on this. And you know what? I think it might be healing. I'll let my comments be the place where you can start these first steps towards healing and finding the justice by saying, you don't have to say, "I forgive them." Just say, "I release them. I release them." The person who caused you the hurt, the person who triggers your anger, the person who took something away from you, your time, your essence, your innocence. Maybe you were full of joy at some point in your life, and right now it's really hard to have that. Just comment it in the comment section. I release them. I release them. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.